From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another podcast this week. Actually, you get us twice this week. Shann was in on yesterday inside the studio. Now she's back in there. But here we go. We got a hot one tonight. Actually, courtesy from Martine, one of the faithful viewers over here out of Detroit. Martine actually brought up a comment in the comment section in the latter part of the show, talking about women getting sick and men leaving them. So it got me to thinking. I wanted to generalize this thing. I wanted to get down to it because actually it was a personal situation of mine. It got me to thinking about the whole thing, getting sick and being abandoned and whatnot, what have you. So tonight's topic, will you run when I fall? Friends who abandoned you in hard times. Let's bring the beautiful ladies in so we can get this thing started. What's going on, ladies?
Hey.
Good stuff. How you guys' day going?
Pretty good.
What time is it?
I know, right?
What'd you say, D?
I said, what time is it? My son has to get up for 6:30 to make sure he's on the bus for 7:20.
Absolutely.
And, you know, when I retired, I was like no longer getting up at 06 stupid, but here we are. Thank you, Maryland School Board.
Well, it's much appreciated. That you join Shann and I every single week. We really appreciate it. Bring your thought-provoking comments and thoughts, pissing folks off and making them smile all day. So that's some good stuff.
Will you be lost without us?
What'd you say?
I said you'd be lost without us.
I really would be. Actually, I appreciate you guys not abandoning me. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Really appreciate it. I wouldn't be nothing without you guys. So good stuff. So this topic, Martine brought up on the latter part of the show Monday, and got me to thinking, man. We were talking about, and I had a couple of conversations with some friends, like Pooh Face and a whole bunch of people, and Wendy and all those folks, talking about men abandoning women when they get sick. I personally don't know of guys that'll do that. Some of the guys I know have been in situations where the woman's actually became ill and what have you, and they stuck in, clean, everything. But I wouldn't personally do that either. But it got me thinking about my own personal situation when I felt ill. I felt ill in the middle of the night. My mother was gone 6 months before that. My brother was gone a couple of months before her. And I had no one to lean on. I had no one to turn to, no one to run to, no one to bathe me, no one to clean me, because as you guys know, I became paralyzed and blind. Mm-hmm. And no one was there. I was estranged from my brothers and what have you, and no one was there. I had one friend who actually bathed me, cleaned me, because I was actually at her home when I felt ill. And they didn't have anyone. No one. So when we talk about, when I fall, will you run when I fall? Friends who abandon you in hard times. I learned a clear lesson from this. Who was around me? Who was there for me? Friends, family, and everyone. And that actually made me better. Here's the thing: the difference in that is, when I felt ill, no one was there. It made me a better person because I had to solely concentrate on me. Now look what they created. They created a totally different beast. So there's no bitterness, there's no anger, razor sharp focus. That's exactly what they created when they abandoned me. But let's talk about it, lady. Let's talk about it. I know you got numbers coming in, D, about, abandonment and relationships and friendships. But that's the thing, man. I want folks tonight to grab the inward mirrors and let's just say if your friend fell, your friend was in desperate times in a desolate place, will you abandon them? That's a huge question. And I got 3 points. 3 points to three vital reasons why your friends will abandon you in hard times. 3 vital reasons. We'll get to them, but I want to hear from you ladies first.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Dee. I'll let you go
I,
first.
I was waiting for you to do the check to see who was on today.
Thank you. He just goes in and forgets that we actually have live viewers who come on. We're very
Not Shannon. You of all people know that this when you read that off for what Martine was talking about, I'm very passionate about this topic.
I get it. And speaking of which, she's our first viewer on tonight. So hi, Martine. Hi, Mark. And hi, Wendy. Welcome and thanks for tuning back in tonight.
Good stuff. Good stuff. What up, guys?
All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. Go ahead, Coach D.
So I don't have numbers because instead of looking at statistics, I was actually in a lot of different groups and I was checking to see what people were saying. Okay. Because I wanted to look, instead of looking at the science, look at what actual people are saying, because people will lie to scientists about what they do and don't do to their friends.
Exactly.
Right. So when I was looking at different groups, I found that misery does not love company. For one, your friends will dump you in a hot second if they are the least bit uncomfortable with what has happened with you. So if you're sick, if they find your spouse was cheating on you, if you gain weight and you're no longer fit their ideal friend group look, if you lose money, something happens, you lose a job. Friends, and I'm going to use air quotes, will leave. True friends will stay, because the true friends are the ones that will love you at your worst and your best.
Exactly.
I'm the type, I normalize dumping toxic people.
Yes.
So I like that.
If somebody is not your friend, and if you have an accident and you gain 100 pounds, get steroid injection, and you're no longer cute to them, and they no longer want to talk to you, say goodbye. Find some friends who still think you're cute. Right? Exactly. If your spouse cheats on you and they hang out with the spouse and the affair partner, that's not your friend.
Here's the thing. Speaking about saying goodbye to toxic folks, but here's the problem with what I used to have, and being in the situation and thrown into that situation, I've mastered the art of saying goodbye.
Yeah,
literally, I've mastered the art of saying goodbye, not only to friends, to family as well. I've mastered the art of saying goodbye.
Yeah, I think a lot of people need to do more of that.
Absolutely.
Because you have some friends who will be friends only so they can get information.
Ooh, absolutely. Yeah.
So friends,
D coming in hot, folks. D coming in hot tonight.
Friends is very, for me, it's a very specific word where I have a small, gross group of friends. Then I have acquaintances and alliances, for a better part of a different word, where we may work together. We may be in the same group of some sort of volunteer work. That's an alliance. Exactly. That's not a friendship.
Yeah.
Let's get to. Go ahead, Shannon. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say Gentle Giant's back with us, so welcome. And then we
What up, Al? What up, Al?
Welcome, Gino. Thank you for your comment. He said, unfortunately, some friends live in a perpetual state of hard times. I think that you should be there for friends when they're going through hard times, but when they live in those hard times perpetually, it's time to make some hard choices.
Yeah,
I can agree with that. I actually can agree with that.
I can agree. I can agree with that. But are you a true friend if they continuously going through those hard times? My question to Joker Dog is,
that's Gino from Facebook.
Oh, that's Gino. Gotcha. What up, Gino? What up? So yeah, I could agree that. But if they continually going through hard times, will you at least pull them out of the mud and allow them to wash themselves off?
I don't think that he's saying that you just abandon. I think it's I think more so, Gino, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's those people who are self-inflicting hard times. Like you're not taking the lesson and moving forward so that you don't continue to be in the same position. And that part I can agree with. I feel fortunate that I have, I count my friends on one hand. Lots of acquaintances, but I have a very small circle of friends who, if hard times come, yes, they're there. But I also get that kind of tough love, like, girl, you need to get your sugar honey iced tea together. You know, you should be like all that kind
You
of
need
stuff.
friends like that, bro. You need
Yeah,
friends like
you
that.
know, it's not about, you know, and I mean, even from personal to professional, you need people who are going to call you out on your stuff and not have you
Absolutely.
always thinking that everything you do, say, or think is right. You know, that whole thing of having
Exactly.
those yes people around you, that does nothing for your self growth, right?
That's right.
So what did he say? He said self-sabotaging friends who live in the hard times world. Yes, that's what I thought, Gino. I was thinking, yeah, all
Yeah.
that
Good stuff.
self-inflicted hard times. So
Appreciate you
Martine,
tuning in, Gino. Good to see you, brother.
Martine says she's dumped plenty of people over the last few years and family too. And the ones who hang with you to get, yeah, she said there are ones who hang with you to get info and hookups. Hey, Lanye, welcome back. Thanks for
What
joining
up,
us.
Lanye? Lanye from
Martine,
Cup Scotch out of St. Louis.
Martine also said she has left unmotivated people alone. Ooh, I like that.
I
Unmotivated.
love that. I love that.
I'd watch and kept seeing them create their own suffering over and over for the entire time we hung out. Yep. I think that kind of supports what Gino was saying too.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was so funny because right before the we went live, you and I were just discussing about, you know, dumping toxic people, so to speak. And
Right.
I'm no respecter of person with that. You know, I've had to deal with dumping some toxic family and some toxic non-family members over the past several months. So,
Exactly.
you know, I hate to say it, but everybody can get it.
Exactly. You know, we have to make these hard decisions, man. We have to master the art and saying goodbye.
Mhm.
And it's sometimes, to be honest with you, and most times, you know, yeah, some friends, some scandalous friends like that, but family members,
Yeah, that's even worse.
that's even worse. And that's a harder decision to make. But what I've learned over the years and through this entire process with me, you know, going through what I've gone through, I had to master that art, man, of saying goodbye, a hard goodbye, and mean it. When I say a hard goodbye, you have to mean that. So let's get down to the three vital reasons why friends and family abandoned you in trying times.
Mm.
Number one, people don't do trauma. They don't like trauma. They don't do trauma. They don't like trauma. They don't know how to deal with trauma. And 9 times out of 10, because they deal with some trauma themselves. So that's piling on top of their stuff. Number two, they are not a true friend. Number three, the journeys are not the same forever. Again, the journeys are not, you guys' journeys are not the same. I had to learn that the hard way. Everyone's not, where I'm going, everybody's not able to go that way.
Right. Well, they say people
Where I'm going.
life for a reason and or season, right?
Exactly.
It may not be for the long haul.
Exactly. And there's been a ton of times where I've actually allowed people into my car knowing that we're not going to the same place.
And we outgrow people.
One more time?
We outgrow people.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And you'll find that when you're on a journey of personal development, or you're working through your trauma or anything, people will drop off like flies as you become more and more healed.
Yes.
One more time for the people that didn't hear you back.
As you become more healed in your journey of self-discovery, moving into your purpose, people will drop off. One thing people do, if you are a reflection of the 5 closest people around you. So if the 5 closest people around you are always into some mess, your life's always going to be into some mess.
Yes.
Straight chaos.
Yeah.
Straight chaos.
Right.
Straight
So
chaos.
I wonder, shoot, I just lost it when you talked about outgrowing people. So do you think that you can outgrow relationships?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
I mean, romantic relationships, not
friendship. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, everybody that's in your car, they're not going. Y'all gonna end up at the same place, but you're not on the same journey.
Yeah. Well, think of it this way: if you join a relationship when you're in a trauma brain and you're trauma bonded, and then you get into therapy and you get healed, you're going to naturally move away from that, because then your eyes are going to be open to what the red flags of that person is. Exactly. And that no longer serves you. So you're naturally going to move away from it.
Here's the thing. Here's the signs of getting healed. The person that you're with, the person that you're still with, you're healed and that person's unhealed. That person acts everything. You're going to start seeing the warts, the scars, the scabs, and everything that person's going to look seriously toxic and sick to you. And in most cases, you have to make that hard decision to master the art of saying goodbye. You have to move away from that, or you take the risk of being intoxicated again.
Yeah.
They can inject you with the same stuff you moved away from.
So would you say that possibly in romantic relationships, if you have a rebound relationship, that
absolutely,
you're getting something during that time where you haven't actually gone through the trauma or dealt with the trauma and you're linking up with somebody else, not completely healed, and then at some point when you do deal with it,
you're transferring it.
That would be
definitely, because if you haven't figured out what your attachment style is, and you haven't figured out why you don't have 9 times out of 10, if you're in a trauma bonds relationship, you don't have a secure attachment style. So something happened in your background, and until you figure out what that was, you're never truly going to get into a secure attachment relationship.
Exactly.
Because remember, and people aren't going to like what I'm going to say next, but when it comes to trauma bonding, those people are chosen by the person. It's not the person who becomes a victim in the trauma bond, like in abuse cycles or narcissist or any of that. They're chosen by the other person because they know that person still has some issues and they can control that through like gaslighting or manipulation.
Quite interesting.
All that stuff.
It's good stuff.
So if somebody says you choose your situation, they're BS. Nobody chooses it.
Exactly. It's like these folks are saying something over there, I believe.
So Martine said, she said she was going back to some of our previous discussions. She said she's left unmotivated people alone. She's watched and kept seeing them create their own suffering over and over for the entire time they'd hung out. And she said everybody can be on that cut list. And totally she was agreeing that they can be lessons or blessings. And when you no longer serve them, they'll fade. That is true.
Yeah,
that's true.
She says people will ask or say, let me know if there's anything I can do, knowing they don't mean it. Absolutely.
No, they damn well don't mean it. Yeah, knowing they damn well don't mean it. Let me tell you something, man. Like I said, I did post this, and I told everyone before we did the show, grab you in with mirrors because we're going in. Grab you in with mirrors. And I would like to know what goes through a person's mind when you see a person in desolate times. When you see a person in desolate times, I'm talking about can't physically feed themselves, like crippled up. Can't physically feed themselves. What's going through your mind when you don't have the compassion to say, you know what, hey, let me try and intervene here real quick. What's going through a person's mind when, I know for me, if I saw a friend like that, if I saw someone like that, I would have to intervene. Knowing the situation, knowing everything about it, I would have to, the compassion side of me, the way I was raised, I would have to do it.
But everybody doesn't have that. I mean, I have seen that everybody does not have that same level of compassion or that compassion side. And I think that feeds into that whole some people are a little bit more self-absorbed and have a little bit more narcissistic tendencies that I believe prevent them from being able to empathize with other people's suffering.
Exactly. So I want folks to take from this tonight is, are you a true friend to your friend if you see your friend in suffering? Are you a true friend? Will you call that friend your best friend if your friend is suffering and you do nothing? You sit on your hands. Are you really a true friend?
Now remember, for some people it could be fear too.
Break it down for me because I don't understand that.
So there's not a lot of people know how to deal with grief or illness.
True.
So if somebody is unsure of how to deal with grief or illness, they may step back. They may want to help, but they don't know how to help. And there's really nobody that teaches us how to help people when they're hurt. Like even at funerals, people will say some outrageous things to people because they don't know what would be helpful, because mental health here is not valued.
Exactly. Let me make a point.
I've had people tell depressed people they just need to get out.
I'm glad you brought this up. Let me make a real quick point. My father passed. And anyone who actually read the Four Horsemen book know the trauma that I dealt with that. My father died in my arms, literally having a conversation like I'm having right now. He literally died in my arms seconds later. And I was so damaged and bruised by that. No one around me knew how to comfort me, but I had a niece named Asia Williams, that's Torrance's daughter, Torrance's younger daughter. She purchased a book on how to get over a passing of a loved one. At that time, Asia had to be about 13, 14 years old, but she saw the hurt and the pain of me getting over that experience. That one child and an entire family who did not know how to comfort me and walk me through that whole trauma situation by losing my father literally in my hands. That one child, she purchased a book. Came over. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I find children are actually the most perceptive when people are hurting. And children will help more than most people give them credit for, because people be like, "Oh, you need to change a child's place." I'm like, listen, if I
not that case,
change a child's place, I automatically ignore them because they're toxic. But
exactly.
kids have natural empathy and sympathy, and a small child coming up to you and saying, "I'm sorry, your daddy died."
Exactly. That was the most powerful.
More than anything else. Yeah.
That was the most powerful moment that my niece could ever do. That's how the Four Horsemen book was birthed, from that child giving me a book on grief.
So I think that kids, not children, don't have a lot of those natural, or not natural, but some of those fears and experiences that we've had or gone through as adults, prevent us or may keep us from certain things. But I will say, and I know this about me, is that I'm that person. I'm not good at comforting people when they're grieving. I'm not. And that makes perfect sense what you said about fear, because for me, and this person is like I have a friend, actually best friend, like a sister to me, and she went through a very traumatic time with the loss of her son. And I just did not know how to really comfort. Or really try to help how I could even actually help her get through that, other than, it's kind of like I just froze. And then I kind of stepped back. Not that I love her, I just, hold on a second. I just did not know what to do or how to do it. And I think that's part of, I think that's probably one of the things that was why it was so difficult for me, even now, going through grieving my own parents' loss. So it's just not something that I don't want to say mastered, because I don't think you're supposed to master grief. It's just it's just something you continue to learn to deal with over time. But that's always been that's a big struggle for me, and it doesn't mean that I don't love them any less. And she and I had a conversation, and she understands, but I hate that about me, so to speak, that I'm not good at being that person when you're grieving, to really be there and be able to offer you the comfort and support that you need.
Meanwhile, I'm the person, I go to funerals and people are hugging onto me and crying into me, and I'm just like, I'm here and I'm listening. And it's I think it's all about who you are. So I'm trained to be good at it. So I took courses and certifications and all that stuff. For the average person, I just tell people, just listen.
That's it.
I'm here.
Sometimes that's all people need is listen. Just listen.
Yeah. And maybe I just need to get, maybe that's all. I just felt like maybe there was more that I should be doing to make somebody feel better. But maybe you're right. Maybe it is just being a sounding board and letting them listen.
These comments are stacking up here.
So Martine says, we were talking about people saying that they'll, wanting to know if there's anything that you can do for them and not knowing that they don't mean it. So she said, you can be ill and they won't stop by regularly. You'll be left waiting. Wendy said, when I lost my hubby, son, and mom-in-law, I learned very quickly who was riding with me. I lost lots of friends from those moments.
Absolutely.
Joker Dog said, Coach D, toxic people choosing victims may not be a conscious decision.
That's interesting.
When it comes to abusers, it is conscious.
Say that again.
when it comes to abusers, they're looking for them. They're looking for a certain personality.
Oh, you mean the actual abusers are looking for those?
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. And Joker Dog says empathy is learned. I think now my sister will always say that I've probably become a lot more compassionate just in general once I became a mother. And I do think that teaches you to be one, you learn a lot about unconditional love with children. You learn a lot about being empathetic with them and patience. So I think I do agree with you on that, Joker Dog, to a certain extent, that it is learned. For me, a lot of empathy was learned through experience. That when I've gone through certain situations that other people are going through, I can relate better with them and maybe, be more supportive in that aspect.
Right.
Thanks, Mark. She said, I've learned that all you can do is listen. So, maybe
that's it.
Maybe that's the answer for me going forward if I'm ever in that
That's
situation
it.
again.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised with a listen here, dude. Just somebody just want to get off their chest what they're feeling, and you'd be surprised just sitting there and just staying there and being their company. Just being their company.
Plate of food.
What'd you say?
I said, listen, and a plate of food. For some people that abuse, they'd be like, oh my God, when I was hurting and I didn't want to eat. Look, she came over, she brought me some casserole, and she just listened to me talk.
Now that's me. I can bring you some food. I'm good at bringing food.
Right.
All right. Well, it's 28 after the hour, sir. Do you want to go ahead and take a break now?
Yeah, we'll knock them out real quick. We'll be right back, folks.
All righty.
After divorce and after the untimely passing of my father, so that's how I became a writer. And here I am.
Thanks for tuning into Conversations with Trent. We will be right back with more conversation after these commercial breaks.
If the lion is the king of the jungle, how can he be the king of the jungle? If he's not the biggest, the elephant is probably one of the biggest. He can't be the fastest because that's a cheetah. He can't be the smartest. So he's not the biggest, the fastest, or the smartest. So how does a lion become the king of the jungle? His mentality.
Check out the creative work of the author Trent Williams of www.taylorkennedymedia.com. Chapter of the Delta gives us a peek at his life-changing events. And if that's not enough, Trent tells you more about his brothers and his life through memoirs in his book, The Four Horsemen. His blogs and daily stimulating quotes are published in his book, Life's Little Addiction. And when you have a need of some human coaching of life and relationships, take a look at Conversations with Trent, Volume 1 and 2, and Conversations with Trent, Limited Edition. You will find his works available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all online book retailers.
Welcome back to Conversations with Trent. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're online and want to be a part of tonight's topic, you can do that by dialing 347-324-5327. Press the number 1 to get into the queue so that your voice can be added to tonight's conversation. Now, let's get back to the show.
Great ads there from Tab's Edible Creation. As you see the wonderful boxes in the background. What I should have done was have her bake some cookies while I had her here yesterday. So I kind of slipped on that. So I'm gonna get them damn cookies again.
Okay. That was funny.
But there you go.
A good friend offered.
What'd you say? What did you say?
A friend was offered.
Wait, who did? Yeah, no, she didn't offer. She didn't offer to bake, do nothing.
I'm just causing trouble tonight. Don't mind me.
She didn't offer to bake, didn't do anything, but she was asking for a meal. And I didn't get not one cookie, not even a crumb.
Yeah,
we'll leave that alone.
You know, that's how life be sometimes.
You didn't cook?
Who didn't cook?
I thought you were a Southern gentleman, sir.
I didn't cook, but I did make sure that I made sure that she had something to eat. I didn't cook anything. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't cook anything. So
yeah,
she was well fed.
It was a quick trip. So
all right, we'll let it go this time.
Yeah, she was well fed, but what at least she could have did was bake me one cookie with that ratchet dog. Kobe was looking at me like, I can't believe you letting this. I can't believe you letting her in here like this, talking all this craziness.
That is
taking over the cage and everything.
Did you call Butters ratchet?
She was ratchet, all that barking. And Kobe looking at me like, I can't believe you letting this go on, boss. What's going on?
Kobe doesn't bark. And I keep telling you, sir, Kobe's got 2 years in the game. She's 5 months. Kobe barked all the time. You got him about a year. He was already a year in. Over a year in. He was already broken in. Don't do that.
Tabs Edible Creations is a spot for the infused cakes, and I want those cookies. Also, there's Al Sal with the Al Sal dipping sauce. He'll be in stores in Illinois, October 26th, over at Your Family Thrift.
Yeah,
he'll be in stores.
Ursula's with us tonight. Thanks for joining, Ursula.
What up, Urs? Good stuff. Good stuff.
Mark said, hold up. Did Princess Miss Charlie come to the NO without her apron? I sure did, sir. I sure did.
Exactly.
And it's hot. Who the heck want to be in the kitchen down there? It was hot. It was, oh my God, it's miserable down there. Oh, I still got all kind of bug bites. Like, I don't even know what this one, I don't even know.
Whatever.
My arm don't swell up from this.
So let's get back to this. Will you run when I fall? Friends who abandoned you in hard times. Have you guys experienced that? Have you guys experienced something that I've experienced recently?
I honestly, no. I can't say that I've experienced the abandonment. I have experienced people losing their mind and me having to cut some people off because they show their ass at the wrong time, in the wrong period of life. But really abandoning me, no.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, the upside to that is you have to have a serious lion mentality. And yes, I did play that ad on purpose. You have to have a lion mentality when everything fails, everything falls, and everyone runs when that plane crashes. Everyone's going to run for cover. All dependents take flight. Again, all dependents will take flight. all dependents. No pun intended, but intended to point. But anyway, the whole positive side to that, you have a blind mentality. You have to focus on yourself. That's the only way you're going to get past that hump. Focusing on yourself, that's the positive side of that.
Very true. I will say, you know, and I think this is just probably a fault of me. For me, is that I tend to internalize a lot of stuff, and I don't necessarily let friends know when I may be actually really suffering or going through something that's hard, and that's my fault. So I'm not.
That's not a good thing. I wouldn't recommend that.
It's not. But I mean, it's my chisel. I'm working on me. That's an internal flaw that I know that I have. That I just.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on a second. Let's say. Hold on one second. This is just a moment. This is a moment. She just talked about my chisel, the chisel I created here. She just talked about it. Okay, Shannon, you're getting better here. This is good stuff right here. This is some good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm always talking about the personal chisel, and she just picked it up and referenced the personal chisel. Good stuff, Shannon. Good stuff. That's what happens. That's what happens.
Delta all the time. Like, don't act like I don't know how.
This is what happens when you come in arm's reach of greatness. Thank you, Shannon. I really appreciate it.
Oh, but yes. So I know that's a flaw that I have, is not allowing people to actually be a part of that.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't, you know, I'm sure when I sit on the therapist chair at some point in time and you dive deeper into it, I'll figure out what, you know, maybe more of what the source of that is and why. Yeah. But I do know it has a lot to do with trust and abandonment to a certain degree.
Yeah. So. And I used to do the same thing until I went through the therapy and found out the whys. Mm-hmm. And when I reached out for support when I needed it the last time, when I was at my lowest, when I was betrayed and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the support poured in. It was amazing how much support there was. And for me, it was a whole new experience.
Exactly.
And it was almost like I didn't know what to do with it because there was so much available. So it's, and I think that's a lot to do with who I choose to keep as friends and in my circle.
Right.
Exactly. Okay. Here on the conversation, we actually do promote therapy. We do promote talking to someone other than a friend. We promote that. We really promote that because I went through therapy myself after my second marriage was dismantled. I went through therapy and it actually helped a ton.
Talk to people who are trained mental health professionals.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong. Black folk, there is nothing wrong with talking to.
Absolutely. That is so true.
There's nothing wrong with talking to someone.
We got some comments that are building up. So Martine says she's seen people who only help with sick friends or family if they're able to get paid to. And also those friends and family who aren't in tune enough to notice when you're suffering in any sort of way.
That's deep.
What else does she say? Ooh, she says, then there are those who know and will kick back and watch you struggle with whatever's ailing you.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yep. Lanye says she can't wait to see the sauce on the shelves.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Your family thrift over in Illinois. Going back over there in October. So that's some good stuff.
And Mark says the older folks would always say, just keep living. Life will teach us all lessons because not everyone can be everything to everybody. A person in your life may be there just to add, multiply, subtract, or divide. I got it right tonight, Mark. I got all the symbols right. But
let's put it up on the screen.
Here is another. It's not a first this is probably one of those times we can still count on one hand where I'm in agreement with something Mark said on the.
She's hitting on all cylinders. Mark, she is hitting on all cylinders. This is what happens when you're in arm reach of greatness. This is good stuff, Shannon. This is good stuff.
I'm going to have to go buy a lottery ticket because I agree with them too. So I better get a ticket for Friday.
Wendy says she sees a therapist once a month. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Good stuff, Wendy.
Ursula says she has something to say about. Well, tell us what you have to say about therapy, Ursula. But I mean, I think for the longest time, and I don't know why we as people of color just felt like therapy was for the other groups.
Yeah,
it helped me a lot. It helped me a lot. It helped me.
Don't know.
It helped me get to my why. Why did I do the things I did to these women? Why did I do the things I did during my life? And it helped me get to my why, and it helped me understand me. It totally helped me understand me.
I'll tell you why we don't seek therapy, and people aren't going to like it. Religion.
Oh, yes, yeah. I will.
All
I
hate
will,
mail
I will
goes to
totally
D.
agree with
D.
that.
Layla at gmail.com.
Right.
But
Send
that's
it
not,
away.
that's not hate mail. That's real talk. Because if you think about it, and I, even for me, very long, I did not source out seeking any type of professional assistance till I was in my 40s.
Yeah,
How much
God will.
trauma and toxicity was in my life that needed to be addressed, that I was dealing with and going through up
Ursula
until
says,
that time. But it was always, oh, pray it out. Pray. No, that did not.
"No, you can't pray it out. No, God ain't coming till you get your mind right."
Oh, yeah. And people are like, well, God will only give you what you're strong enough to bear. I'm like, no, that's not how that works.
Right.
So,
Ursula says that therapy is a must. Totally agree, Urs.
Yeah. I say everybody should get therapy, and if you don't think you need therapy, you need the therapy the most.
Let me break this down real quick when we talk about religion and all that stuff. I agree with you guys on that. But here's the thing for my religious folks. God will not operate in a chaotic mind. He will not do it. He can, but he won't. God will not dwell in a chaotic space. So it's best to go and get some help. Seek help for this. Because God's not going to be in a chaotic space. I guarantee you that. It won't happen.
Okay. So I'm not sure what this means with Mark, but he said, Ayo, Mr. Epic, I got that shade tree mechanic. A tune-up goes a long way.
Oh my God, English, sir. See, now I don't like you.
That was a personal comment. That was a personal comment to me. I totally get it. I totally agree, Sly.
Can you translate for the rest of us?
I can't do that. I can't do that one. I'll share with you guys in a private message, but I can't. I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like he was on a good roll, with both me and Coach D tonight till that came along. But okay.
Nope, never mind.
Said people think therapy exposes family secrets. Family secrets get exposed anyway without therapy, and there is no such thing as a secret. Exactly. Yeah, but you know what? Some secrets need to be exposed. So I will say this: on my drive back, I like to listen to Audible and listen to books that I have downloaded. Right, it helps the drive. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if anyone has listened or even read Viola Davis's memoir called "Finding Me."
I have.
I will tell you the amount of trauma she and her family went through, meaning her siblings, or just as from an early age. I'm just like,
right.
There was that took I applaud her for being as open, honest, and transparent as she was in that memoir. Like I was just like, how much can one person suffering in life at an early age can one person endure? Let
me tell you something.
It's a very good good read, and I like listening to it because she's actually narrating it.
Mm-hmm. And who is this? I'm sorry.
It's Viola Davis.
Okay, all right.
And the same thing with Will Smith's memoir. His was really good too, and he also narrates it as well.
Yeah, we need to break generational trauma. Stop hiding the pedophile aunts and uncles. Stop hiding the abuser. Stop hiding the alcoholics. They're causing trauma and hurting people. Who cares the family secret? What's done in the dark will always come to light.
And I think that's exactly what Ursula was saying. But it's amazing, Coach D, because I was talking to I think my sister and I were having a conversation, and I'm just like, we don't call out people for who they really are. Stop saying, you got the touchy-feely uncle or this person. I'm like, they're freaking pedophiles. Mm-hmm. All of that stuff. I said, we did. Maybe back then we didn't have a name. We didn't give them a name. We didn't give it a name. But it's like now, call it out for what it is. Mm-hmm. So when people have
a couple
traits and character flaws, you have to call it out instead of just glossing over it and making it seem like it's okay, to other people.
Yeah. Martine says
that lots of Black folk are embarrassed by having anyone know that they've seen or are seeing a therapist. I would agree, but at this point, it's like some got to give. At least for me, it's like you get tired of going around the same trauma roller coaster that you can't get off of.
And I think there's a generational change now because Gen Z and my son's generation, Gen Alpha, they don't care if you've seen therapy. They think that's good. So when it comes to Gen X and older millennials and boomers, they're the ones with the issues.
Yeah.
Younger kids have a lot more emotional intelligence. They're teaching it in school. They're learning about filling their own cup and then sharing their cup. And they're learning about meditation and everything.
I think, can you move the comment down just because it blocks my, thank you. I think now people are recognizing and probably normalizing it even more since we've gone through the pandemic and the quarantine, how that's affected people. And then seeing people, who have unfortunately taken their own lives. And you just, you don't realize what people are going through underneath. And that's why, one of the things that the quotes I always see all the time is just be nice to people, because you just never know what they're going through or what they're dealing with.
Right. Let's get back to the abandoned.
Hold on, we've got a couple of comments though. Mark said one's process is what they know. God forbid a brother gets a therapist like at Unusually Bree, the fire therapist from the internet.
Oh, yes, her. What happened to her was absolutely horrible.
Who's that?
So what had happened is she is amazing. She gives some great advice. A fellow sister wrote an article and named her, and then black men doxed her and got her fired. And they are literally still harassing her to the point where she had to change her phone number.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's absolutely horrific. Like, I sent her some support and I said, listen, if you need some help with like some special skills that I have finding people, I can do that for you. But
you're messy. Stop it. I didn't tell these people your background. You're not
gonna Lord. Okay. We not okay. Yeah, leave that in the background. we trying to get some more corporate sponsorship here now.
Exactly. There you go.
Martine says, yeah, we need someone to speak to. And Joker Dog, I agree with this. He said Proverbs says there is wisdom in a multitude of counselors. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
so wait a minute. So is this another moment?
She does agree with Unusually Bree. I'm gonna have to look her up. I had not heard.
Oh, you'll get mad. Yeah, it's horrible. I'm just bad thinking about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up. So, Mr. Epic, go ahead. I think did you have some more points to get to?
No, that was just the 3 points. I just wanted to focus on this abandonment and hard times issue. Let's go with the vital points for the people that weren't on. And there are 3 vital reasons why friends abandon you in trying times. Number 1, people don't like trauma. That we touched on that. Number 2, they're not a true friend. And number 3 which is my favorite. Your journeys are not the same forever. So you can be in my car, but we're going to the same place, but you can't travel with me. You cannot travel with me. I'm going to a different way, and I'm actually walking over these mountains as it pebbles. You may not be able to get over that mountain, but I'm going over it.
Some people won't follow your journey because sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's resentment. Exactly. Like, look at them. They think back home we have a saying that's like they think they're so grand, meaning like they're better than everybody else now.
Exactly. My teachable moment for this time in my recovery and all that stuff, I had to understand, I had to realize that's how I got rid of the anger. I had to realize that my brothers couldn't overtake that mountain. The mountain was for me. It wasn't for my brothers. It was for me. Right. It was my journey. So that's how I repaired my relationship with my brother Torrance and Alvin. That wasn't their mountain to take. Yeah. It was mine. So I couldn't expect them to hurdle that mountain with me. But once I got over the other side, I pulled back and reached back and pulled them over that mountain. So that's why these relationships are repaired. That's why these relationships are so much better. I was reminded through that storm that, hey, the horsemen were the horsemen, they still are the horsemen. Yeah. I just had to realize that wasn't their mountain to climb. It was mine. Wow. I had to do it.
Yeah, we are responsible for our own journeys. And the easiest way to stop somebody from changing is to try to force them to change.
There you go. There you go.
Their journey will come when it's their time.
Yeah, I think the best lesson I learned is that you can't change anybody. You can only change yourself.
Amen.
As simple as it is, I cannot change anybody else. Mm-hmm. Only me.
Absolutely.
And sometimes just changing me may give me a whole different perspective on how to deal with them.
Exactly. So for those folks, I really want to.
It doesn't bother me.
I really want to get to these folks and I'm more than sure there are viewers out there who's actually going through these things that we speak on. every single week.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to understand that, listen, while you're within that storm, please do not focus on those folks that are not there for you. You have to focus on yourself, focus solely on yourself. You get to exactly where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Don't focus on who's not there, who's not helping, who's not giving you that helping hand. That's the wrong person. You're focusing on the wrong thing. Focus solely on yourself. You'll get past that hump.
Do you feel that you spent a period of time doing that while you were going through your situation?
I didn't have the time to do that because the person who was assisting me kept me going, kept me just constantly pushing me that, hey, you can get up and do it yourself. You could do this. She honestly kept me going doing that. So I didn't have the time to think about who wasn't there because she was constantly pushing in me. You can do this yourself. You can do this. Don't worry about no one else. And honestly, that was a heaven sent. I think my mother sent that to me because she had a daughter who had cerebral palsy. So she fell into that role like it was nothing, constantly pushing me. So I didn't have time to think about why my brothers wasn't there, why I know my friendships wasn't there. I had everything I needed.
I mean, this may be a little bit more personal, but have you and your brothers had those discussions around their lack of participation in your life at your most critical, so to speak?
Not really. Torrance and I have had some conversations, but we haven't gone that far into that. I'm totally comfortable where we are in the relationship. Mm-hmm. I'm comfortable where we are at the stage we are. And when you're repairing relationships, take the stages. So the stage we are now, we're in a great stage. And
do you feel but do you feel that it's a sincere, and I'm not judging, I'm just asking, do you feel it's a sincere stage when you still have underlying stuff that has not been addressed or acknowledged?
It's sincere to the point to where the relationship was repaired.
Okay.
That was part of me, the relationship being repaired. So I'm good on it. I'm good with that. If I don't never get an apology, it doesn't matter for me because I moved on from it.
I don't look at it so much as an apology, but it's one of those things, and it can happen in friendships. It can happen in romantic relationships where when there is, because to me, I look at it as that's a form of trauma, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but
here you are nearly on your deathbed, and the two people that you have left in your immediate family that you were so close to completely abandoned you, as you say, and you've moved on to a certain extent now where it's you guys are able to interact and maintain a certain relationship, but you still have that layer of like, I know you did the sugar honey iced tea stuff to me. We need to acknowledge each. I feel sometimes it's important to acknowledge our faults and the roles that we played in certain things.
That's their role.
Hold on, to fully heal and move past all of that. That's just me. I'm not saying
that's you.
I'm just
exactly. I totally disagree with that because that's their role to bear. That's their cross to bear. Because I'm good.
Well, I'm not talking about the healing on your end. I'm just talking about overall. I mean, Coach D, am I making sense? Maybe I'm not.
Yeah, because technically the relationship isn't truly healed if you can't have a reflective conversation about them.
When they're ready for those relationships, with those conversations, I'm not at this point in this stage in my life. I won't be doing it because I'm great.
I love when you get uber defensive on stuff when that mirror starts getting turned back on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm good. Like I said, I'm good.
But sir, okay, your whole body language and the shift in your tone and all of that.
Because I don't want to focus on it. That's not it.
Anything on you. We're not for. I'm just asking a question and presenting a perspective, possibly the same way that you offer to us and to the viewers and listeners on the show. But your whole thing just switched as far as your demeanor and your body language when it came back. Nobody's saying you're at fault. You're totally not at fault for how they act. I'm just asking overall, is it really truly healed when you still have the manure right there, so to speak?
In my opinion, we're good.
Cleaned up.
In my opinion, we're good where it is, and that's where it's going to stay.
Okay, so there you have it, folks. We're gonna leave it right. We're gonna leave it right there. I don't feel like logging off, even though it's time to go at night.
Good stuff.
All right, so
let's get to the comments real quick.
What did you say?
Let's get to the comments. What Martine says.
I love how you. It's sometimes I'm just learning something about you tonight. Okay,
Is that right? Let's talk about that. What you
yeah,
learn?
I'm learning that you don't like for that to be turned back on you at times, but it's
I
okay.
don't.
You,
I don't. And we're good.
it's
We're
okay.
good with it.
I
Somebody
mean,
needs to
I
work on
was
that
very
protein
vulnerable
sizzle.
and shared some really some of my own stuff that I know I got to deal with tonight with however many people are on listening to or viewing this podcast. And
That's good.
so just a thought for the life coach,
That's good.
just
I'll take that.
I'm
I'll take that in
not
consideration.
certified or anything like that, but just
I'll
I'll
take
be
that in
texting.
consideration.
I'll
I'll
send you a
take that.
text later.
I appreciate it. I'm more than sure I'll get a whole bunch of texts.
Oh yeah.
But it's good.
So Mark
We're good.
says, "How does one find inner peace and a healthy personal traits? Then watch fake reality shows, leave the storms, and support others on Tell Live
Great
Vision."
point.
So, okay, I don't know if that's directed at me because I love reality TV shows, but for me, it's entertainment. Like I feel totally comfortable being able to separate my own stuff and working on the stuff for me and understanding and realizing one that fake reality show that's just scripted fake reality. It's no different than watching a movie. That's not
Right.
necessarily real life. It's just entertainment. That's my personal take on it. I don't know about other folks, but that's my personal take on it.
I like
Totally
watching
agree, Mark.
the Harlequin channel, Hallmark channel, and I know none of that's real.
I know.
It's just a relaxing TV show to watch. Like, come on. Not everything
Yeah,
we
but
do
let's-
doesn't have a purpose.
Right.
let me address for the viewers here
Yes.
on the conversation. I've been transparent for well over 20 years with this conversation, and it's well documented with the relationships with my brothers through the Four Horsemen books, the Chapter of the Deltas, and this final trilogy, Romello. So all this stuff is well documented, but I'm at a space in my life to where everybody has their own cross to bear. So I repaired the relationship with those guys to the point of where I'm comfortable in the right space with them because we couldn't be in the same space at some time. So I'm comfortable being. What's so funny? I'm sitting
I
trying to.
love the way you sip it deep. Because I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at what you're saying, Trent.
Okay, let me finish. So
Because we both got I think we both got the same mindset right now, but it's good.
my whole point is, let me finish. So I'm in a space where I'm comfortable with it. I'm cool. So no one knows exactly what me and those 3-4 guys went through life. It's not a joke for me. So my whole point is I'm good where it's at, and that's where we're going to leave at.
Are you glad to have
That's it. That's all.
Sir, does that make you feel better to have the final word on that?
I'm always having a final word.
Because I'll be doing the same thing.
I'm always having a final word.
Sipping on my juice.
The denial is not the denial is not just a river in Egypt, sir.
Let me tell you something about these ladies here. They love to put me in a pickle, but I'll always get out of that jar. Knock it off.
You know what?
Knock it off.
But that's what
honesty. It's called accountability, sir.
Exactly, and I'm giving it to you. So that's it. That's all.
Ooh,
don't have me revert back and actually put y'all in your place now. Knock it off,
sir. I think you
need. Excuse me.
I think you need to just go on and check. You
get.
Oh my God! Let's get to these last comments.
We're being nice. Don't forget we're being nice.
Okay, well, I appreciate the niceness. Thank you so much.
Get it straight. We're being very nice to you.
Yeah,
I appreciate the niceness. Thank you so much.
All these people who want to send their little hate text to me talking about why he did Trent like that, why he did hard. You just saw it.
What are you talking about? I'm the nicest guy you ever want to meet.
Oh
sir,
my God.
You will purposely pick on people and try to trigger them and then deny it. That is your toxic trait.
What are you? I admit to that. I agree to that. I do have a toxic trait when I really want to pick. So I'll pick.
Well, let's not pretend that that's not happening. So let's not blame it all on Shann.
Right.
I never denied that I do pick. I do.
Let me finish these last comments because right now all I hear is wah, 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 wah. So Mark says at Marty Girl, talking to you, Martine. I get how some women would agree with Bree. Then the thin black line of sisterhood clouds truths. I'll post another one of her hidden stories. Okay. He said, change behavior is the best apology because some roads and topics are best not to be traveled again.
Exactly. Who said that?
Your friend, because I don't
Absolutely.
know.
A friend he is, too. A friend he is.
Martine
exactly.
says, ain't nobody out there paying for anything I have. So I know that I'm the one who has to keep going. And I'm
Boom.
not or have been ill
Boom.
a bit, but had to pick myself up.
Boom.
Oh, Mark, she gave you a challenge. She said, post it and you guys can chat. Lanye says she wants to can she get those books when you come to Illinois?
Absolutely. I'll hand deliver them.
Also, Lanye,
Good
what you
stuff.
mean your ears are big? What you listening to? You listening to the some of the denial that Trent was spewing over there?
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about Shannon and Dee. See, here's the thing where they use this tool that I've created and that I've built against me. They use this tool to actually, they know me very well. They know me very well. So they're going to use that against me, which is cool. I swim with the sharks. I swim with the sharks and eat salmon at the same time.
Yeah. Avoidance of difficult conversations is a trauma response.
Ooh.
I swim with sharks and eat salmon at the same time.
So I think we've come to the end of the show tonight. This was actually really good and actually very helpful. So I'm hoping, Coach D, because we always want to make sure that we're leaving people better than we found them tonight. Maybe post some links on the conversation page for if people can find support and help for different things, for different issues out there. And I think that'll be helpful. And Mr. Epic, if you want to look at some of those too and check them out, please, by all means do so. We're here to support you and your betterment in all aspects of your life.
Still on the bullshit. She's still on the bullshit. Just make sure you send those cookies, please. Thank
you. You on my cash
app?
You want the cash app for the cookies?
Didn't I tell you lost the privilege to the cash app real quick?
Oh my Lord, Jesus.
Do you really want to go here?
Oh, anyway,
we're not gonna do it. We had a great night here. Well, let's get to the teachable moment real quick.
Her mailed package, Trent. She's being patient.
She's waiting for what now?
She's waiting for her mailed package. She's patient. Whatever you were supposed to mail to Martine.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to.
I
have to be. You know, in that condition, I totally forgot. It's been the whirlwind here. Take care of some things here.
And
but the teachable moment.
Hold on, Joker Dog says he doesn't. He's talking about us, Coach. He says, I don't think Shannon or Coach are respecting Trent's position.
Exactly.
No,
that's my guy right there. That's my guy.
Lack of accountability and denial here, sir.
Yeah. Here's the thing with these ladies. These ladies will always try to pin me in a corner.
It's not about pinning you in a corner. It's the same.
But Shannon, you know that certain things I don't want to talk about. And you push me, and that's why
a freaking platform where you talk about being open and transparent about stuff. I didn't say you had to talk about it. I just asked a question.
But see, Shannon knows what buttons to push with me. She knows that I was going. Before that came out of Shannon's mouth, trust me, folks. Before it came out of my mouth, she was saying to herself, "You know what? I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I'm Shannon."
Maybe we should have a show on why people avoid talking about difficult conversations.
We could do that. We could do that. But the teachable moment for me tonight with this abandonment thing, you have to really truly once you're abandoned, once you're out there by yourself, solely focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. Great things will happen and take place. I am a witness. You are a witness to exactly what I've done. I've turned this thing into a complete positive. So focus solely on yourself. Don't worry about what others aren't doing in your life. You have to focus on yourself. You have to. It's a must. Focus on someone else, they have you veering off course. That's the honest to God truth. Veering off, completely off course. You'll lose that way.
All right. Martine added a teachable moment. She said her teachable moment is I only know what I'm capable of.
Boom.
Lanye said that's how you did her in St. Louis, Trent. You had her talking about being drunk.
I did. I tend to get that out of folks when I'm sitting there. And actually, when I come back to Cub Scouts again over on October 28th through the 30th, or whatever it is, everybody gonna be crying. Won't be a dry eye in the building. I guarantee you. Maybe we can get Shannon over there on the couch and have her crying as well. But I know she'll avoid it like the plague, and she don't want those straight talk conversations. I guarantee you that.
Okay. All right. I whatever.
So what my teachable moment is, choose your friends wisely. If you need help, call somebody, seek help. If you are contemplating suicide, please call a hotline.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Make sure you reach out. There's help out there.
This is a good one. We have to thank Martine for actually placing this on the brains for us. This was a good topic, man. It felt like a good one when I was actually pushing it out. I was like, this is gonna be a real good one. So that's some good stuff, man. We always appreciate the viewers, and without you guys, this would not be happening. So all your thoughts and your topics, send them in, man, to Shannon, or D, or myself. Just send them in and we'll do them. As they come in, we'll do them. So that's good stuff, man.
Oh wow, you must have really impressed Lonnie. She said took her all the way to the edge and damn near jumped off. And last comment of the night goes to Mark. He says, "Men deal in facts, women deal in emotions." Mariah said, hashtag
Boom.
emotions.
That's big.
I don't even know that we should respond to that. So
we're going to acknowledge the brother, because the brother, I mean, come on, he's favorite. He's always there.
Respond to that. I don't even know.
Scientifically incorrect, sir.
I knew it.
Yeah. So I know it was too good to be true that y'all agree with Mark coming all out the gate. Then normally when he comes to my defense, you guys shoot him down again.
Hey, a broke clock is right twice in one day, so you know.
That's true.
D, I can't stand you, D.
All right, it's 8 after the hour. We are over, but we thank everybody for tuning.
Shannon has to get to the Ratchet show. She has to get to.
There's no Ratchet shows on Wednesday night, so I'm good. So yeah, we're good.
Good stuff.
So had you been nice to me, I might have gone in there tonight and made some cookies to send out.
Oh, that was nice. Come on.
You want to be your ASS whole self. So anyway, thank you guys. We'll see you guys on Sunday.
Bye.
You guys be epic.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.